Joining us now is Fox News contributor Sarah Carter, the author of License to Lie, Exposing Corruption in the Department of Justice, Sidney Powell, and Ohio Congressman Mike Turner. To all three of you, thank you for joining us tonight. Sarah, I want to start with you. The latest on the Steele dossier and these documents that are now coming to light. You've done some of the best reporting on this issue. Give us your perspective on the latest.
Well, I think these documents are incredible. They really lay out the case that the FBI. Now, these are Kathleen Kavalak. This was her handwritten notes from her meeting with Christopher Steele, Jason. And basically, what she got from that meeting. This was in 2016, October 2016. Before the election, was that Christopher Steele was doing this for political purposes. She knew the information that he was providing. A lot of it was just false on its face. And she knew that he was trying to leak it to the New York Times, to the Washington Post. And he had specified that he needed to get the information out before the November election. So you see the political bias. Look, what's happening now with James Comey, the former FBI director, James Baker, the former general counsel, Andy McCabe, and all these others, as they're trying to gaslight. They're trying to make everybody think like they're crazy for thinking that these folks had spies inside the campaign, that they were trying to set up Trump, which is exactly what they were doing. If you just look at the facts, which is what the Attorney General is going to be looking at, the facts, and Michael Horowitz, they lay out a very strong case that the FBI and those people within the FBI that were working on the investigation into President Trump had enormous knowledge of what was going on, and they violated the rules set under the FIS court. That's the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court. So, yeah, Jason, they are going to have a lot to answer for, and Devin Nunes is 100% right here when he says Comey better watch it, because he is going to be at the center of this, because he signed those FISA warrant applications.
Now, Congressman Turner, I had the pleasure of serving with you as well in the Congress for a number of years. You've been on the Intel Committee for a number of years, too. Your perspective is very important. I know it's somewhat limited, too, because of what you could share publicly. Nevertheless, John Ratcliffe, your colleague who's also on the Intel Committee, has said that application at the very top, it says verified application. I mean, that's how it's titled, verified application. So what are we to read into all this new information and new news and what Devin Nunes is telling us as well?
Well, what's interesting about this publicity tour that you're seeing from all of these characters is certainly Baker's statement that to put something in a footnote is a red light is just laughable. As we know, putting something in a footnote is how you bury something. And the fact that he says that the wording is what they would normally use, you know, a judge would have wanted to know that this is an application to spy on one campaign based on material that is paid for by the other political campaign. That information was not contained. It was not clear to the judge. It certainly is incredibly important. And also, as we all know, it's not verifiable information. So it goes right to the inception. Comey's been saying that, you know, this was a rightly opened investigation. I got the opportunity to question him in March of 2017. He says to open investigation at that time, he said you need credible information of wrongdoing. Well, clearly we know that both Clapper had said there was no evidence when he left in 2017 of collusion, and Mueller certainly has found no evidence of collusion. They had nothing, and they went ahead anyway.
No, it's absolutely right. Now, Sidney, you know, James Comey has gone around saying he does everything by the book, but this is the same James Comey who, in order to put the special prosecutor in place, what did he do? He actually leaked information, right? I mean, are we supposed to believe that James Comey now, who's on this publicity tour, as Congressman Turner called it?
No, there is nothing that was done by the book here in the FBI. They broke every rule and every protocol from the beginning of this so-called investigation, from sending an agent to foreign soil to interact with an American citizen, from enlisting the help of the British. Everything they did, using the Steele dossier, which Comey has admitted repeatedly was unverified, yet he signs a FISA application that says it's verified. And please remember, the Carter Page FISA application was not against a member of the Trump campaign. Mr. Page had not been a member of the Trump campaign for weeks when they got that FISA application.
Now, Sarah,
this was all to cover up their illegal surveillance that had gone on for God only knows how long before they got that FISA application.
Now, Sarah, it was James Baker, he's the general counsel there at the FBI, who said it would be gratuitous to actually name the Democrats. As Congressman Turner said, it'd probably be easier to just in one sentence say, hey, this is paid for by the Clinton campaign and the DNC. But do we believe Baker now? I mean, he's been behind closed doors talking to Congress for a long time now.
That's right. I mean, I think Baker right now realizes he's in jeopardy as well, that he was part of this process. He even admits to the fact that it was he that oversaw a lot of this, the FISA applications that went before the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court. And it's also Baker that's under investigation right now. Remember, Baker, and I think I was the first to report that nearly 2 years ago, that Baker is actually under investigation for leaks. So we have a number of high-level senior officials at the FBI under investigation right now for their failure to adhere to the law. I mean, what Sydney says is absolutely true. They violated everything in the book. But, Jason, it goes far beyond this. What we're seeing now is just the tip of an iceberg. Remember, the iceberg below the water is much larger. And I think that's the reason they're fighting back so hard. So when we see them on these tours, when we see them gaslighting the public, when we see them poo-pooing like what they did is nothing more than, oh, well, we put a siren in the footnote. You know, we let the courts know. They didn't. They withheld exculpatory evidence. And I think that the more we see, the more we'll realize how far members of the Obama administration went, not only with surveillance, but with unmasking and far beyond the Trump campaign.
Real quickly, Congressman Turner, Nunes says that Comey's potentially in trouble. Is there really legal jeopardy for Mr. Comey?
Well, I think whenever you abuse power, you certainly subject yourself to risk, and certainly that can be a legal risk. But, Jason, I think one of the things that's most important is what you said in the beginning of all this, is you've got Comey, Clapper, and Brennan all making statements that wish this president ill will, that are clearly biased statements at this point, and that are clearly pronouncements that there's going to be something that is terminal to the president or his presidency. But yet we're supposed to believe that when they all started these investigations, they were unbiased and they were professional and they didn't have any of the characteristics that they're parading across TV showing us.
Yeah, no, I think what they're doing is projecting right now, and the evidence is going to come out with that Inspector General report. Sarah, Sydney, and Mike Turner, Congressman from Ohio, we thank you for being with us.